This involves putting a dial indicator on the very front of the part, knocking the part true by tapping it with a hammer and watching the readings with a dial indicator. Now let's jump into the machine. The first tool we got up is a CNMG 432. I'm going to face the front of the part, and then we're going to turn across the OD. I'm going to be running it at 250 SFM with a feed rate of 12 thousandths per revolution. For the OD passes, I'm going to be using 130 thousandths for the depth of cut. I want a nice small chip coming off for the OD cuts. Next up, we have a 3/8 HPX drill. That's going to be putting our center hole in 1.75 inches deep. I'm running it at 150 SFM, and the feed rate we're using is about 8 thousandths per revolution or 4 thousandths per tooth. The next tool, I'm going to be using a number 5 center drill, and all I'm going to be using this center drill for on this operation is to just put a nice chamfer on the front hole, and that way we have a nice spot for our live center to make contact with. I don't want any burrs on that hole. I'm going to be running it at 100 SFM, and we're going to be using a feed rate of 0.0058 per revolution, or about 6 thousandths per revolution. Afterwards, we're going to bring in our VNMG 431, and this is going to rough out the small undercut after the threads, and then we're going to take the tool and we're going to do a finish pass across the OD. We're going to be running it at 250 SFM with a feed rate of 3 thousandths per revolution. For the small roughing passes for the undercut, I'm going to be using a 30 thousandths depth of cut. Finally, the last tool for this portion, we're going to thread the front of the part, and that's using our 12-pitch UNJ insert. I'm going to take it to 500 RPM, and I'm going to use a feed rate of 0.0833 per revolution, which is the proper feed rate to make a 12-pitch thread. Now that the front portion is all done, we're going to unclamp the part. We're going to pull it out to our G55 length. I want to make sure I have enough room to where I can finish the entire long shaft of the part, come across the OD of the part to where the shell mill is going to turn. I want to also make sure that my top spindle isn't going to hit the chuck when it's turning pretty much next to it. So I want to watch those clearances very closely. Once I have my G55 length set to where I'm happy with it, I'm going to take an indicator to the front of the part to where the drill hole is. I'm going to indicate it so it's within 2 thousandths of run out. So I'm going to take a rubber mallet, I'm going to knock the part in true to where I have less than 2 thousandths of run out. After it's indicated, I'm going to set my G55 in the machine, and then I'm going to bring the live center into X0. I want to set the live center's pressure by handle jogging to Z until I hit the proper line for the material. For the spring pressure, we want to go up to the first line, which is for your max workpiece, it's 100 pounds. For this piece, I know my workpiece weighs about 70 pounds, so I'm going to handle jog my live center until I hit the first line, and that's going to give me enough spring pressure for a max workpiece of 100 pounds. And after that, we're ready to run our next operation.